put something kind of under there so it doesn't just roll under, because this resin drips under, and that's kind of a pain to clean up.
So what did you
so
put
there's a
under
little
there?
piece
Just,
of cardboard.
yeah.
You can roll up tape.
just something to force it out.
Yeah. And then got the fiberglass over the top, and then I trimmed it like right to the bottom of the tape line.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like a clean line at all, because we're actually gonna come back and cut it right at that tape. And then around a round nose, I'll just cut some relief cuts.
Yeah.
Just so the fiberglass kind of will lay flatter. And you'll see when I roll this back down, like on the corners, actually, we'll cut the corners out, so the back is those back pieces actually flat. Any logos go down underneath the glass, so you guys will all get these if you want them. So you can just trim it like nice and close, so it's not you'll get them in like a big square, but I like to trim it as close as I can to the letters. Yeah, and so roll back the glass, obviously, for logos, or like these two little knots. I want to have like little spots that need to be filled, so I want to pre-fill that, because it's kind of harder to get this stuff to like
impregnate.
Yeah, or like soak. Like we'll soak the cloth, but it's hard to sometimes to get to like fill a hole like through the cloth. Yeah.
And how many ounces of total liquid do you have there for?
I have 12, and it's a 2-to-1 mixture. So I have
1 hardener, 2.
2 of the resin. So I have 4 ounces of hardener and 8 ounces of resin. I'm gonna stir it until when you start to stir it, you'll see like there's still some. I don't know if you'll see that, but there's like strands, kind of like it looks mucusy almost. You see those like lines on the side? No?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it'll look kind of like stringy in there. You just want that to clear out. So depending on what hardener you use, there's a fast, slow, and medium. I'm using fast right now since it's not that warm in here. That'll determine like how much time you have.
Do we get all of the different types with the...
No, you'll get slow.
Slow?
So you'll have more time to work with it. So ideally, like glassing is like around 70 degrees, lower humidity. But if you don't stray that far from there, you should be good. Like if you're gonna go in really like pretty cold, you definitely want to maybe get some fast hardener, because it just will never really set up fully. So epoxy is a stoichiometric reaction, which means that that's why it's 2-to-1. Like polyester, you just add the more catalyst you add, the faster it'll kick.
Right.
So this is always 2-to-1 because it's it needs to be a balance. And so they build in a little bit of margin of error, so you can you don't get it right on 10, but you want to get pretty close. You don't want to, if you get the ratio off, it actually won't cure. And then so its pot life should be a while, but it definitely kicks the fastest in the cup when it's all together, because it'll start to heat up. If I just left that there, this would get really hot and probably start to smoke and probably melt the bottom of this cup. Yeah.
Do it.
That'd be so cool.
And so you definitely don't you definitely want to just get it out of the cup. Once I kind of start, I'll first thing will be getting most of it out of the cup.
Yeah.
Especially if you start to feel it get warm.
Yeah.
If it starts to get warm, you still have a while, but it kind of speeds up the reaction, the rate of heating up. Because the hotter it gets, the faster it'll cure. And then it just obviously just compounds on itself. So all of a sudden it's just like, whoa.
Have you waited too long if it's hot in the cup, or can you still get it out and use it, or have you screwed the
there's a
pooch at
certain
that
point, like, if I was to leave this, it's kind of like it would actually start to, like, I kind of move around and almost, like, start to be this, like, solid piece at the end of the stick.
Right.
And I kind of lift it up and it almost, like, start to be, like, hardening. So at that point, I wouldn't use it anymore. So I'm going to pre-fill these knots. And then I'm going to put some resin down.
Underneath the logo.
Yeah, you want to definitely saturate underneath. Get a bunch out there.
De-bond.
I'm actually going to use a little bit of like 30-second cure epoxy.
So we want to do this in the kitchen on my kitchen table then.
Put plastic down.
Oh, good idea.
I bet there's people that do.
Well, that's where I'm thinking about doing it, because my garage is unheated if I'm going to do it. It's not going to be till next spring, and then I'll have forgotten everything. And I'll be bringing the board down here. Hey, guys.
So, yeah.
How do you get the bubbles up?
Just in the kitchen.
The bubbles will go away.
They go away.
I'm good. Gotta figure it out. Can't talk right now.
So the epoxy I'm using right now is like really low VOC, which is like volatile organic compound. So it doesn't really have like it doesn't emit a lot of like bad fumes. The stuff we're actually going to start using is 0. So that's why we can actually all be standing here without masks. The thing
But
is,
you're not using it now.
what, the mask?
No. The stuff. This is a different resin.
This one has like really low,
low, but you're gonna use
but
a
like
new one.
not 0.
Yeah.
So.
And that's just to hold that in place, tack it
Yeah.
in place, so yeah.
Because everything's moving. Even at the end of this whole thing, like you can tug the fiberglass all around. So I'm just gonna tack that down in place and get all the bubbles out. The thing about the logos is you can definitely do it without like tacking it down. Just kind of have to be careful you're not dragging it around a lot, because like at a certain point the ink will actually start running and it'll just smudge.
From the heat?
Just from like moving it around so much.
Oh.
So if you were to get anything else printed, the ink is actually it's printed upside down or inside out.
Oh.
So the ink is on the bottom here. Nice, I like that. So,
And is there different types of? Do you always use the fiberglass sheet?
no, like that fish in that oven is actually bamboo cloth. That's another thing. It's a lot harder to do because it's stretchy. But that is another option.
Most people get the regular fiberglass, right? Or
This is regular fiberglass. They usually use polyester resin though.
oh, okay.
And so yeah, polyester resin's like
Are you gonna
super.
pull it back to
Yeah,
those other
yeah.
knots that are there, or those weren't?
Those are actually already filled.
Okay.
So
A
those
lot
are,
more people get this versus the bamboo cloth.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
definitely. So this is 4-ounce cloth. There's also 6-ounce, which is a little heavier, thicker weave. That's like the top one. Oh yeah. So what I was saying, like, yeah. So the fumes aren't real bad. I guess the one thing about epoxy is that you can like start, like over time you can get an allergic skin reaction. Like, it's just I'm sure, like you could get it all over your skin and never get a reaction, and someone could get it, like touch their skin like twice and they could start becoming allergic, but it's totally that's kind of the only like health thing. So I usually try to wear long sleeves, even though I a lot of times don't. Basically, just if you get it on you, make sure to like wash it off at the end of the session. So I'm gonna just kind of get it spread out. I'm not really using any pressure. Kind of my sequence of events is gonna be just letting it soak in, just getting this kind of all around spread out as I can.